It's been a while since I covered this story, mostly because there hasn't been any new news regarding it. I've also been kind of glad to not have to talk about it for a while. It's a shitty story. I don't really like talking about it, but you know, here we are. Shout out to the New York Post. Slain teen Austin Metcalf's father breaks silence on Carmelo Anthony's murder indictment. Quote, justice will be served. Yep. He hasn't really made any public statements to my knowledge since after the Anthony family press conference that he got kicked out of. So let's see what he has to say. The father of slain teen Austin Metcalf lauded the grand jury indictment against his son's suspected killer almost 3 months after the fatal stabbing at a Texas high school track meet. Jeff Metcalf declared justice was being served for his 17-year-old son, who was allegedly killed by fellow teen Carmelo Anthony. It's not alleged. Carmelo Anthony confessed during a fight over a seat at Frisco Cucandole Stadium on April 2nd. Quote, indicted, first-degree murder, justice for Austin, Metcalf wrote on Facebook after Collin County District Attorney Greg Willis announced the indictment on Tuesday. He went from, like a sentiment of reconciliation with the Anthony family to, celebrating the idea that Carmelo Anthony is going to do time, going to go to prison. Now, he obviously probably always was like, okay, this kid needs to be punished, but it's the energy is very different now, with good reason. After the way, if I was in Austin, or if I was in Jeff Metcalf's position, and I got treated the way I've been treated by the Anthony family and by Dominic Alexander and all these people, I would be out for blood also. Anthony, now 18, was indicted on the murder charge by a grand jury that was presented evidence by Willis's team over several weeks. Quote, I'm pleased that we are moving forward with the first-degree murder indictment. It now goes into the court system, Metcalf said in a statement obtained by CBS Texas. I fully believe that justice will be served for Austin Metcalf. I look forward to the forthcoming trial, but it will never bring back my son. I doubt that he said Austin Metcalf. I mean, he might have said that, but I doubt he probably said Austin, not Austin Metcalf, and they just kind of added that in there for context, even though I don't think you really need the context in this case. And that's true. A guilty verdict in a court of law will not bring Austin back from the grave, unfortunately. Willis echoed the heartbroken father's statements after the indictment was announced. Quote, early this spring, our community was shaken by what happened at a school track meet in Frisco. The violent loss of 17-year-old Austin Metcalf, Willis said. For weeks, my team has been presenting evidence to the grand jury. Today, I summarized that evidence and I asked the grand jury to return a first-degree murder indictment against Carmelo Anthony, which it did. With that indictment, the case now moves formally into the court system. From this point forward, we'll continue doing our part fully and fairly to pursue justice under the law. The trial schedule will be set by the court, but when the time comes, we'll be ready, the DA added. Good. Good. I'm glad this is being treated the way it is. If this had happened 5 years ago, 2020, 2021, I don't know if we would... I genuinely don't know if he would have actually been indicted. I really don't know. But in that time since the George Floyd Summer of Love, things have, gotten a bit more sane, a bit more rational. The younger Metcalf and his twin brother Hunter were at the track meet at their with their high school, Frisco Memorial, before the tragedy. Also, Metcalf allegedly spotted Anthony, a senior at Frisco Centennial High School, sitting underneath his team's tent in the stadium's grandstand and confronted the uninvited visitor. During a brief exchange, Anthony warned Metcalf not to touch him before he allegedly pulled a knife from his bag and stabbed the teen in the heart. Anthony allegedly ran from the stands as Metcalf died in his twin brother's arms. And apparently the video is out there. I haven't looked it up. I haven't seen it, but apparently there's video evidence of the incident. I've heard people talking about it. I haven't seen it yet, but from what I've heard, again, I encourage you to find it for yourself if you're seriously curious. But apparently, it leaves no room for doubt. I'm sure it'll come out widely after the trial, or it'll probably come out during the trial. To be honest. The suspected killer was captured by police minutes later. Anthony, who was 17 at the time of the stabbing, was arrested and booked on a $1 million bond. He's been under house arrest since he convinced a judge to lower his bond to $250,000, citing financial hardship. His family's upper middle class, rents a really expensive home, and has multiple cars. He has been serving the court order. Out of a gated community where rental homes go for $3,500 a month. See, and then they raised $500,000 for him on GoFundMe, Gibson Go and GoFundMe and all that shit. So they are not hurting for money. They are not suffering with financial difficulties. They had money before the stabbing occurred. Don't get it twisted. He was not some poor black kid from the ghetto. Okay. Him and his family were upper middle class, multiple cars, nice home. They only had to move into the gated community because, his address got leaked. They were able to afford this rent, this $3,500 a month rent. They were able to afford it before he actually even got the Gibson Go money. So don't get it twisted. This kid was not poor. Anthony's lawyer, Mike Howard, stood by his client's innocence, claiming Anthony acted in self-defense during the fight. Yeah, sure. He, of course, is a defense attorney, so he's going to say that no matter what. And, that's kind of his job. But again, don't get this twisted. This was not a fight. This was a confrontation between two hot-blooded teenagers. One pulled out a knife and stabbed the other in the fucking chest. It's not a fight. Quote, Carmelo and his family are confident in the justice system and the people of Collin County to be fair and impartial. Of course, Carmelo looks forward to his day in court. No, he doesn't. He's scared. He's scared as shitless. He knows he's about to do prison. He's going to go to prison for life. He knows it. Howard said in a video message after the indictment, we expect that when the full story is heard, the prosecution will not be able to rule out the reasonable doubt that Carmelo Anthony may have acted in self-defense. Yeah, we'll see. I highly doubt it was a reasonable self-defense for you to pull out a knife and stab another kid in the heart. I don't see that as being reasonable. The only reason why this defense is even on the table is because the perpetrator was black and he killed a white kid. Simple as. If they were both white, we wouldn't be having this conversation. If they were both black, we wouldn't be having this conversation. But because a black kid killed a white kid, we have to make excuses for him. Anthony received his diploma from Cisco Centennial in May after school officials talked with the teen's parents and an advocacy group. Yeah. The teen was not allowed to attend the May 22nd ceremony as district rules prevent students who committed or are suspected of serious criminal offense from participating in the graduation. Anthony faces life in prison if found guilty. And if and when he's found guilty, I hope he does get life. I hope he doesn't get some sweetheart fucking, oh, woe is me, sentence where it's like he doesn't have to serve 25 to fucking life like anybody else would have to in this, in this scenario. But yeah, like I said, I think it's good that Jeff Metcalf has started to speak publicly. The whole, olive branch reconciliation kind of attitude that he had with the Anthony family is bullshit. Especially after the way Dominic Alexander talked about him in the press, the way the family treated him. I would start celebrating too with every victory I have. Just really rub it in their faces. But yeah, feel free to agree or disagree with me down in the comments, and be sure to smash that like button. All the links are down in the description. Sub to all my alternate channels and follow me on X. Check out my show Saturday morning, Clown World Chronicles, on the Clown World Chronicles channel, Rumble, or here on Go for Papa Palpatine on YouTube. Um, then also check out my game streams at Clown World Gaming. That's Rumble and YouTube. Either way, I do that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, sometimes Saturdays, and occasionally, the occasional, Friday or Monday. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, throw me a bone.